Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, today's video is not about Photoshop or anything like that. Today's about Nero 2016. I'm lucky enough, I've got a few versions of Nero. Um, when I say lucky enough, like Nero, I use Nero for video editing. I also use it for recoding video if it's in the wrong format and I want it to change it, say from a WAV file to an MP4, something like that, or a WAV to an MP3 even. Uh, so let's quickly open Nero and we'll start from there. Now this is Nero for beginners, but we will go all the way through to advanced because there's a lot in here. Now, when you first open it up, this is Nero Platinum. This is the kind of home. If we go into here, let's close this and let's take you right to the very. If we open it from here, this is Nero Platinum 2016. This is the kind of home screen, and you can see what you've got here. You've got media home, media browser. These are essentially for looking through your media, playing your media. You can also stream media to TVs, to other devices. For now, we're going to concentrate on this edit and convert. We're going to use Nero Video. Now, Nero Recode's a good thing. Some devices require file formats and certain outputs, and you can recode different things. I've used that quite a lot. This is what most of you will be familiar with. If you've not got Platinum, it'll be for burning CDs, burning DVDs, making covers for your CD covers, and some of the other things here I don't really use. But free Nero tools is always worth going into. It takes you online. There is other things you can download, but we're going into Nero Video, and when we open it, we get this interface here. Now, it's important to note that when you're making a Nero video, even though you drag items into and out of Nero, you can drag them in here, for instance. When you make changes and do things, you're not actually changing your source file. You're just changing what we would call a catalog file, NVC, a Nero video catalog. I don't know if that's the correct terminology. It works for me. And what happens with these things here now, it's unusual to go into another program, but if we go into Photoshop, if you work with layers on Photoshop, so let's put a couple of wee adjustment layers here, curves, etc. Now, this is my original file. It's never going to change, but hey, I've just made it brighter. We could turn that off, we could turn it back on. The source file is never changed. And that's a bit the same as in Nero Video. When we take a video in there, if we make an edit to it, if we speed it up, we slow it down, your initial source file will never change. So you're not going to damage that, you're not going to delete it or delete parts of it if you make cuts to your video. It's important you realise that as well. So we're going to go in here to make advanced movie. Now we could have dragged stuff here. I prefer to do it in here. And we're going to make the advanced movie. Now, this is your interface here. Now, when you've got stuff on the timeline, so for instance, this is just sample assets. So when we put this sample asset on the timeline, if we play that, there's a couple of things. It's in here at a certain aspect ratio. Now, we're going to check what that is in a minute. It has audio to it, and it's playing back at a particular speed. Now, we can change any part of that. We can lose that audio, we can replace the audio, we can just turn the audio off. If you come down here, that's all good and well. Now, if you delete something, this here is called a playhead. At the minute, it's showing 2 video playheads. We can make more video playheads as we go along. All you have to do is left click on it and lift it up the way, and you'll see this plus appear in the middle, and we can add further playheads. back to Photoshop, it's a bit like adding further layers. We can do other things to separate parts of the image by working on other layers. Now, this page here is called Free Sound. It's a free resource. Obviously, you have to register for it. You can upload your own sounds so that others can use them, or you can download sounds that other people have made. So it's worth keeping a note of that page, because you can make your videos funnier, or you know, add in a wee sound that's just appropriate to the story you're telling, and we're going to tell that story in a moment. So when you first install Nero 16, it's or Nero Platinum, sorry, you get videos, pictures, and audios, and it comes with its own assets. These up here are your assets. It's got default ones that you may use, probably not. It's got some default pictures. Again, you may want to use them. You may want to have this video down here on video play line 1. We don't have any birds up here though, but let's have a dandelion. We might want to put a dandelion on that. Press that play button now. And then we go for that picture after 5 seconds to that picture. And it's in keeping with the context. So you could put, when you import your own files to work with, they'll come in here into your assets area. This is where your project files will stay. And it also ships with some audio, this audio here. Now, if we come down to here, and you already see it's audio 1. Audio 1 is relating to this. There is no audio on audio 2. That's just a still JPEG, so that line's blank. But if we come down to this audio here, Flower Meadow, that's actually the image and the audio on this line underneath. Now we can turn that audio off by clicking here, and you'll see this turns white when I click it. And if we play now, completely silent. And that's the same if you import video of your own that has audio attached. You can remove the audio, and you can totally remove it if you think I'm never ever going to have that audio on there. If you come up to here and it says unlink video on audio, so we'll do that. This audio is now separate from the video, so we could put the audio to there, and we'll play it, and we'll turn on the mute, play, and you see there is no audio now because I've moved the audio along in the playhead, and it will kick in a few seconds exactly where I've put it. It's not going to make any sense it being there, but maybe I wanted to bring in a different bit of footage, so we'll stop that there. Well, Control and Z will undo in majority cases, and Control and Z again, you see they're still unlinked. Once you unlink it, you can't relink it, but you can line it up so that it's back in the exact place. So now we've linked it back up again. When you have JPEGs, now this bit of footage here is video. I can't make that any longer. Now I can slow it down, and it will take longer to play. So if we do that there, well, let's turn this let's get rid of the video just now. And if I press this little here, it's going to hide this track. So that's hiding what's on top now. We're seeing straight through. Much in the same way in Photoshop, if I have a layer turned off, we can see through to the one underneath. So whatever is the top visible layer is what you will see on here. And let's go back to here again, back to videos, click on the tab. I'll explain what this audio is. There's quite a lot of audio. I'll explain what that is in a moment. If we download this audio to here, let's take it up on another tab. So you just left click, hold, and when you see the plus sign in the middle of the screen, let go, and that's now up there. So at the moment, this is the top most visible layer, but it's not visible until we get to here because there's nothing on the playhead there. So if we play that now, you see we're completely missing the photo because we've turned that layer off. And now it goes straight back to the start. We're playing. So if we just pause that just now and turn that one off, you'll see it's got no effect on the image you're seeing on screen. This image is now effectively invisible because it's below a visible layer above it. So keep that in mind. So you can stack as many layers as you can fit on your screen, and you can just keep adding and adding and adding. So I'm going to Control Z if it will let me. I'll just say, now let's put this image up here now. So we're back onto where we can see this. We can't see this layer because of this. And then we're seeing black because I've got this here turned off, but we're still playing this audio. This audio is still visible. And that's the thing, you can have video turned off but keep the audio only. You might want just the audio from something and not the video. So when we go back to this first layer here, we think actually let's pull this down again. Now imagine this is a different bit of footage, and we will do this, we will do it a lot as we're editing. You think actually I don't want to see this middle bit, I only want to see this end bit of footage here. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go into the effects palette. I'm not going to let's go to effects slow motion. Now I'm not going to say too much about this just now because I will go over it later on. So effectively I've now doubled the length of that. Now I'm going to lose the audio on this one here, so that the only audio we're hearing is the one at the bottom. So now we start again. That sounds lovely. And gives a long pause, black screen, we don't really want that. Now we're seeing a B, yep, that looks great. So if we speed up to the next one. Oh, audio's missing. And then we come back in here, and that B is actually moving about in slow motion now. I've doubled the time that we're seeing this on screen, so it's effectively slow motion. So one way we can get rid of this bit of footage and this black space, because we don't want that, we only want to have this dandelion and then this slow motion footage, is if we right click, we can remove from the track and close the gap. Now we've only got one bit of footage. I might have 20 different bits of footage, or I might have some JPEGs in there, and might have some sound effects, all different, and I really don't want to drag them all up one at a time. So if I'm taking off a bit of footage from here and I want everything from the right to be hunched up again to the thing on the left, then we can right click and remove from track and close gap. And you'll see it only closed the gap to where this is. It's worked out. So the gap in this instance isn't this gap here. If I take the playhead along, it's there. That's perfectly lined up with that, and that's what that's for. So now we can go back to the start, and we'll play that. And this audio is going to stop as soon as we get to here, and we'd quite like that audio to go on a bit further. And the reason it stopped is because it can't play the audio in slow motion. That's fine, we can separate them. So if we highlight this and we right click, and what you'll see is because I went slow motion with that, the audio is already moved and separated, so we can do that. And maybe we'll just do that to about there, just so you get a rough idea of what we're doing. And we'll come forward to here. Now I'm doing all these movements manually. I'm manually dragging this slider along. If we have a look at this here, and it says go to next edit, effectively what that means is go to the next starting point. So if we click that there, it'll go to the next edit. If I click it again, it'll go to the next edit. And if I click it again, it's went to the start of the audio. Now we'll go to the end of the audio and then at the end of the footage. So again, we're going to close the gap, right? Move from track and close the gap, and you see it moved everything back. So we're now no longer needing that dandelion image, and we're just going to have some of this footage. So as you can see, it's played there quite fast, and then we're playing the same bit of footage again, just a little bit slower. But this audio is now no longer working, so let me see why it's not working. So it's minus 100%, right? That's fine. That's what happens when you remove the audio. So let's go forward a wee frame just now. And we're gonna, you see it's minus as far back as it can go. So let's just put it to 0.0 and then tab out of that. And you see that's got our audio back. Now, I was wanting to do audio a different bit, but that's how you do it. But so when this one here got stretched, this audio can't be stretched, so Nero has just completely muted it by taking 1000% of the audio out of the frame. So if we come back to 0%, that's the audio at the level it was recorded. And we can increase the audio here at the same, and we can go say up by, let's go up to 15 decibels. It's easier if I type it in, so we'll just go 15.0 and then tab out of it. 6.0 tab, and you'll see that's louder than what it was. So we'll go back to the start of that edit, and we'll just put that down to 0.0 tab. And 0 just means there's no increase. That's the level the audio came in. Starts at 0, and now it is 0. So there you have it, folks. That's first introduction to Nero. So you get some, if you click on these are the little tabs. You've got your media on the top tab, your effects on the bottom. We'll go through some of the effects. I've used a couple today, but not in any sort of depth. Yeah, so this is the first one. And we're not going to make any more edits. We're just going to take these assets. Now, one thing, if you've got assets on your timeline that you don't want, just hit delete. Again, delete, and again, delete. They've just been removed from the timeline. If you delete them from here, like for instance this little cross here, you will delete them completely from your project. And these Nero assets are always part of your project. You don't ever have to use them, but I would keep them as wee backups so you can test things out. Again, let's mute the audio on this one. So if we play that now, what did I do? I turned the video off there and not the audio. So let's mute the audio. So that's the audio muted. We can unlock assets here. That means that we'll not be able to do any other effects to it if we lock them. So there's the quiet footage. And this audio that I was telling you about, it ships with 30 pieces of audio. It's music from nowhere in particular. Let's just take this one here. And the great thing about this music is it will adjust its length and duration to whatever you have on your timeline. So this one here is only a few seconds. So let's just drag this down. You see how long it is to start with. Drop it onto an audio head and let it go, and it readjusts and fits to the music you've got, to the footage you've got. So let's play that. On its own, not very good. So let's go back to the effects palette, and it's the audio level we want to control, and you can type it in, or so I'm going to make it about -15, -15.0 tab, and let's play that. Yep, that's better. And now I'm going to add in audio from here. So now I'm not hearing the audio there at all. So I'm going to turn that to about -10. And this is basically what you do: find an audio level that you want, a speed of the film that you want. So they're both, so now I can readjust that. I'm going to make that -10. Play again. And that's better. Now I'm just hearing enough of the music. It's relaxing. I'm hearing the bird song. So there we go. So that's that. The other thing you should do, and I'm going to do it when I've got nothing on the timeline, so that if we close that, if you come up to tools, options, and we come to movie options, there's some presets in here. You can give your movie a name. But at the moment, it came into HD TV Basic, which should be 19. That's 1280 by 720, which I prefer the 19 by 1080. So let's go up to HD TV, full HD TV. Click that. That's 1920 by 1080. It's a 16:9 ratio, and click OK. Now, if I put music in here now, or a picture even better example, we drop that into video 1. You can see I'm not completely filling the screen here, so we were in fact filling the screen. So if I was to export that file now, we could export that as a nice background that will completely cover your video. The video that was here, if I download that video on here, you'll see it's a different size. That's the size of the pre-recorded ones. We can try stretching it up to fit our box, and it will do it, but you'll lose some resolution. So try and fix your aspect ratio and your output to the same as what it was recorded in. So if you're recording in 4K, let's go back up to here, go up to options, go up to movie options. If you're recording in 4K, you can select this one and make it 4K. Because my webcam is HD, my iPhone 7 I've currently got set to record in HD. My camcorder records in HD, and my DSLR records in HD. So for me, this is a much better ratio. 24 frames per second is pretty standard. 24, 25 is pretty good. If you're recording in that format as well, it means when you slow it down, you'll not get such juddery image. So that's just a quick oversight. I'm sorry if it's longer than I kind of had intended. It's a quick oversight of Nero 2016. In our next one, I'm going to show you editing a little movie, and we're going to have some input from pre-sound. I'll show you how to download something and how to search for something. So thanks for watching. I hope this helped in some way.